just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. You're so very special. But I'm a creep and I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here.
Ain't fair, bro.
I don't care
Hey,
her.
how you doing? You're home?
I wanna
It's nice to see you.
I want a perfect soul.
Hey, Canis. Good evening, you too. How is your new apartment? You don't work today? Oh, that's great. So you can stay with us. Today's gonna be a tough stream because the goal is huge, huge, really, and hard. So you don't work today, so you will stay with us all day, ain't fair? You cannot miss at all, man. Probably, I don't know, I'm gonna check a couple of things, but probably we'll start also to make a... Someone asked me to make a course for Udemy. I would like to ask you guys, if do you think this is a good idea? It's going great? Okay, kid loves it. That's the most important thing. Layout is great. Internet, I've seen internet. That's insane. Kind of weird. The Discord numbers were not a joke. Yeah, I've seen it. I couldn't answer because I was really busy these days. So, and got a nice cement of Fuji view. Okay, the Fuji view, that should be great in the morning too. 3 minutes walk to kids from school. Yeah, I'm really happy for you. I'm doing good. I'm working on a new project in C++, which I should say plus plus because it's correct, but let's say it in English way. And I'm doing it live, of course. But someone asked, I would like to talk with you of a thing. Let me read down 8 for. Nope. Got course for the week today. Get to go to the military hospital with my dad since he needs medicine. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Get to pick up my car from the shop. Got to stream later today, and have to get stuff ready for my session for this weekend for D&D and also other things. But I think this is long enough. Fuck! You are a super busy man. You're a super busy man, dude. Well, as far you're good, and everything proceed like you love, it's good. I mean, I'm happy for you. But you're going to stream? Did I read good? So you're gonna stream later today? What? What are you gonna stream? How's the grant still in limbo? I didn't still have any kind of answer for the grant at all. Let me just check the music because I want to have some no copyright music. Just let me check quickly. No copyright music from SoundCloud. Noxon Forest. Let me check this one. Let me see. Why is that? Do you hear the music, guys? Or no? I don't. What the freak is that? Wait. Okay, now you should hear the music. Uh, okay, this should be good. Yeah, I don't have any kind of still answer from Epic. I keep waiting, guys, and I hope this goes through, and I can keep moving on. People kind of mean to doing Beyblade streams for unboxing and testing. Really? Oh, that's cool. But who? Distributors? Stuff like that? You stream on YouTube? Why you stream on YouTube and not here on Twitch? Uh, what's the reason? Okay, just your live friends. Okay, well that sounds good. You're the master of Beyblade, so why not? Why not? I'm happy for you. I'm running out of cigarettes. That's really a bad thing. So I guess I have a kind of 2 hours autonomy for the stream. And after I need to exit and buy it. But well, I got contacted from someone that asked me to make a course for UE in of course on Unreal and in Italian, and also translate after in English. I'm evaluating these things. He's seen a lot of my streams and stuff and the game and asked me if I would like to enter in this project. So I'm really still evaluating this kind of things. I feel like I'm good like when I'm streaming live. I don't know if I'm good in making content for Udemy or stuff like that. What do you think of this idea, guys? Well, I am in second ranked in my second ranked in your states. 113 in the world? Free Kate, for you kidding me? You're such a big Beyblade tournament player? Oh, freak. I didn't know that. Really? That's insane, man. 130 ranking in the world in Beyblade? That sounds cool. Really? Super cool. Congrats. Congrats. Today we are gonna face a huge problem. And I'm not... which I, of course, solved already in Reborn and so far so on, but I wanna kind of bring the things to a superior level up, if you wanna say that, okay? Using the reflection system of Unreal Engine to create an inventory which literally how to adapt to any class then we can have in game, pass it to the inventory itself. So this is really tough. Let's say this is difficulty level 8 to 9 probably, over 1 to 10. So, but that is the fun part. This is advanced stuff. Because literally we are going to create an inventory, which of course doesn't steal pointers because it's insanely stupid, storing pointer to actors in an array. Because yeah, streams are usually me just hanging out with the boys, basically. That's why I just do it on YouTube. Well, why not? Why not also in with Restream? I should not say here on Twitch, but with Restream you can stream at the same time on different streaming platforms. Like you can stream on YouTube and on Twitch at the same moment. Of course, you cannot be a partner or an affiliate, but if you are not and if you don't care, if you go to Restream, you can set up OBS to what you're streaming on your phone. Okay. Well, that was just what pops in my mind, right? That could be possible, right? From the phone, I'm thinking to it. That's true. You really need a better camera for your PC, you mean? Like a 4K camera? You stream with the camera on? Oh man, give me the link. It's the best I got. Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah. It's insane how much costs a new iPhone. Costs like a mouse, right? And now with the crisis of semiconductors, it's even worse. Wait, give me the link. Post me the link of your YouTube channel, Aether, because I'm curious. Really. Drop the link here in chat. So let me get back a second in Visual C in Visual Studio. Okay, we need to comment a lot of stuff because this is really hard stuff. Here we're dealing with reflection. Reflection is the base of Unreal Engine. Everything then inside the code is technically reflection is the fundamental of Unreal and is the way on which code can inspect itself at runtime. So that's what we're going to do today. It's not that great, only have 2 streams. As one yesterday, I had connection problems at the beginning. So if you want more of what to expect, just look at one that's more orange. Also, more orange. Also, if you choose to look at skip about 1050, give it a buffer to let people join. Okay, let me check it a second. And while we're going on with the stream. Okay. You mean the second one? So this one. Orange, wait. This one. I recall this one is the one that you posted in the score too, right? The one that you printed the frame, I recall it.
Like that.
What, this one? Now wait, the one in the preview, you posted the frame that you printed. At least it is similar to this one.
Oh, look at that.
You know, don't let me get search because you posted something similar to this.
Look how
Pretty
sweet
sure.
it is.
The one that you 3D printed.
Oh my god. Oh, you want me to check? Well, you want me to check? You want me to check?
Let me subscribe.
Just the
And let me hit the bell. Where the
You
freak
wanna
is the
try
bell? Yeah, okay.
What do you want me to check? Okay. Which one?
They know when you're live and I can snipe streaming you.
The whole bay? Okay. Boot that off to the side.
But guys, we have a celebrity here.
Oh, that was about
He is
to-
rank 113 in the world.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, okay.
awesome.
It's gonna be hard for you to see, but I can tell you.
Wait, what? Yo, this.
Um,
Oh,
so charge metal.
you look professional.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't think.
You know, I don't know nothing about Beyblade, but okay, I'm gonna see this one offline.
No, not. It's going to happen though. I know it's going to happen.
DJ.
Anyways, we have the Ragnarokku Cyclone Rider.
Hey, Not, welcome.
That's now.
Good day to you too.
To quickly weigh this
Welcome.
versus the other one. Hi.
I have some fun memories of Beyblade. Nice chant.
Look
Ah
at-
yeah, you know, Edfer is ranked 130 in the world. He didn't tell me, and he's second in his state.
From earlier in the round.
So he's a freaking celebrity.
Look how short it is. Look how short
Besides being one of my best friends, but you know, he is great.
Look at this. Look at this. Look how short that is. And lemon.
For anyone who wants to join and subscribe, 8 channel, this is the link, guys. Go there, subscribe,
Dude, well,
hit
actually,
I like,
do like
hit the bell,
you know, look how
hit
short that is.
everything,
I mean, this is both
but
right
whatever.
same part, you know.
Hit everything, and follow 8 guys. Okay. Good. I'm gonna see this offline, of course. So let's get back to deal with the reflections, which is in Unreal Engine is the ability to inspect code at runtime, and basically anything that is marked U property, U function, U class, U struct is, and even if it's hard coded, of course, because you code this into the header files, you can inspect their parameters at runtime without knowing what they are before. And this is really an hard concept and hard stuff to deal with. I never really got a lot into it. But it's really, of course, the reflection system in Unreal Engine is really insane. And it's one of the fundamentals on which the engine is built. Oh. But it's really hard. it's really hard stuff. This is advanced at C++. And it is fun, but honestly here we're dealing with pure pointers. And so memory address locations and bringing the content of that memory location in a struct that we literally built before. Well, I don't know if you're going to be asleep, but I'm probably streaming around 6 p.m. East. 6 p.m. East is midnight here. More or less, midnight 1. I guess we have like 6 hours difference, right? So probably I'll be there 8-4. I'll be there. If I'm really not crashing, probably I'll be there. The way people here in the States, it's time to get off work and get home. Got 2 things to unbox today. Okay. Well, you know, feel free to post the link in the off-topic channel in our Discord too. Maybe there is people is interested in that. So feel free to use also the off-topic of our Discord to post in your live. You know you can do, right? That's not a problem. What is the problem at the moment here? The problem at the moment is the bad way to make an inventory is storing pointers to actors in the world and literally hide the actors. This is the this is the worst way to make an inventory. That's at why. Because whenever we want to add an inventory, we want to add an item to an inventory. Normally we start with the pointer. I'm going to try to do something usually once every Wednesday and either late Sunday and on early Saturday. We will see. Well, it's good. I mean, I know that Beyblade is your passion, and also being a ranked player is very good, right? Hey Daniex, welcome. There's gonna be an art stream, art stream for art coders. I'm gonna definitely follow you, 84. If you stream in some ways that are kind of Italian friendly, you know, like maybe 6 in East Coast, 5 East Coast, or you know, Saturday morning will be great because if you stream like at 10, will be like 4 or 15, 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. here in Italy, so that will be good. Right. I will follow you. How are you doing today, Daniels? That's nice to see you around, guys. Sleepy? Because you grinded all the night? Yeah, it would be for both sides of the world, one early and one late. Yeah, you know, this is the way. Good idea. Yeah, it is. No, you didn't grind all the night? Yeah, I don't believe you. I'm sure you grinded all the night. That's why you're freaking sleeping. Got woken up early? Good spalling? What? Polling? What is the polling? Voting? You have to go to vote in your country? No, polling is no. Voting for president? Really? Or whatever? We must go? Well, in Italy you can choose to go or not. Well, I'm out. Hope you guys have a good day. You too, wait for. If I'll be awake, I'll go in your stream in YouTube later tonight. Have a good day too, bro. And thanks for opening, really. You know, I miss if I'm not here. Okay, let's just start to work on the problem and split the problem itself. So, how not to do an inventory. Oops, I can't you know, guys, it's funny because I can't respell inventory card. How not to do an inventory. And of course in C++. Store pointers to actors, to A actors, and hide and hide them. So this is not the way to. Well, if you like the stream, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future uploads. But I did it. I did everything. I did it. Look, I subscribed. I hit the bell. I hit like. I left a comment. I did everything. And I also left a comment. I'm subscribed. I got the bell. I like it and I commented. So I made 4. Perfect. Okay. Wasn't talking about me. Okay. And I damn in the word. I can't. I don't know. I can't respond today. It's really. Okay, 8 for see you. Thanks for opening. See you later. Okay, we define how not to do an inventory. Starting pointer to actors and in a structure or whatever. Starting point to actors. In a struct or an array and hide them in the word. This is the way which you have not to do for making an inventory. Because this leads to having all the objects stored, yes, in a structure or in an array, but still instantiated in the world. And what that means that they, beside the fact that they consume resources, even if they are hidden, they are instances of classes. If anyway they are occupying memory, and letting items instantiated in the world whenever you don't need to use them, then is the wrong way. And I've seen this doing many times from different people. This is the wrongest way to deal with the problem. You have two problems. You have two ways to solve, at least two ways then I know. Representing the actors through structures, and that's how I did in Reborn. Basically, in Reborn, I created a structure which could represent literally anything in the world. And inside inventory, I'm storing the structure. This, and once then the structure is stored, the actor gets destroyed. Whenever we have to deal with that actor in the inventory, or for crafting, or for upgrading, or stuff like that, I'm going to reinstantiate the actor, deal with the parameters in the struct, and eventually resaving the struct and redestroying the object. This is one way to approach the problem. And if you really can abstract your item, weapon, armors, anything in the world that represent an object to the level that I did in Reborn, you're very good to go. But this ends up with having a one single structure for every object that's define any possible properties that a different type of object can have. And this is one way to approach the problem. So, whoop, sorry. My chair is literally falling apart. I should make a crowdfunding for a new chair, guys. Let's method one. Method one. Oops, I can't really spell. Create a struct. I can't spell. Create a struct that can represent literally any object in the world. Let me spell that. Any object in the world. Store the struct. Sorry. The struct, yeah, it's gonna store the struct in the inventory. And whenever we are in need to work on the object, on the actor, let's say the object. Oops. On the object. So the actor. actor, let's say represented by the structure, we need to reinstantiate it, and there is one way to do it, and that's because Reborn is a huge game. I had to find a way that an actor could literally represent everything in the world, and I did this in this way. So every actor ends to have a structure which represents literally any possible property, that type property that that actor can have. And this has been a lot of thinking, because especially when you're dealing with an RPG, the possibilities are insane, and so you end up with having structures that are nested inside other structures, and so far so on, because you need to be able to represent literally anything. And this takes a lot of planning ahead, and eventually modify in the future to adapt the struct to new data, right? If you understand what I mean. In this way, you don't store any kind of pointer, you don't store any kind of actor, you don't have nothing instantiated into the world, so this doesn't consume any kind of resources. And so technically, let's say for an RPGs or any kind of weapon that you could have equipped at that moment, you just literally take the data from the structure and reconstruct the new actor with the data. For example, for let's say the equipped weapon, the weapon that you are using in that moment, or maybe a piece of armor or stuff like that. This for huge games requires a lot of thinking ahead, a lot of planning, or a lot of mastery, at least in terms of what is dealing with these big, huge structures. Another way, the second way, which is the most difficult way, but it is also very nice to work with, is using the reflection system of Unreal Engine, which is our stuff. What is the reflection system? The reflection system is the ability of the code to inspect itself at runtime. What this means? It means that anytime that I have a class, I can inspect all the data, let's say hard-coded in that class, then are marked U function, U property, U struct, U class. So I can deal with the data of the class without knowing before what is the data type inside that class. Okay, this is kind of a bit difficult to approach, but basically the reflection is the ability of you, in this case, to inspect the code at runtime. So technically, in this way, we are not storing any kind of pointers, we are not storing any kind of structure, but we are storing the basic classes. So what is stored in the inventory is a T subclass of, and of course the type of the class. What does that mean? It means that inside the inventory we will always have only the data that is coming from the basic class. So the class then we define in the editor deriving from the C++ class. Okay, so let's say then we're creating a C++ class which represents the weapon, and inside the editor we created child classes for defining maybe the rifle, maybe the sniper rifle, maybe I don't know, any kind of different type of derived subclass. Okay, so at this moment what we're gonna store into the inventory is literally the type of the class, not any kind of instances generated in the world on which we have in some way modified, let's say, any kind of parameters like the rate of fire, like literally everything. Okay, because let's say then we have base class. Let's say then we have the weapon class. Let's say then we have the ASP weapon class. Jesus. ASP. Let's say then this is our base class. Okay. This is gonna be the base weapon class. If you have any question, guys, just drop a line. Take a cigarette. I'm really running out of cigarettes. That's a bad feeling. Too many what? What means idiots? Too many questions? Shit. What are the questions? I'm here to help like always, guys. We're gonna see in code. I already started to code it. And this is what represents the using of the reflection in the system. And I'm going to explain bit a bit the stuff, so you can have a grip on the fence. I never really used the so deeply the reflection like I did here. So this is kind of also new for me too, and it's not easy. But if you have any question, Daniels, just tell me what is your question, and I'm gonna answer it. If I know the answer, of course. So let me just make a correction here. Let's define better. Take the struct data from the instance of the object Oops. Store the data. Let me be more clear here. Store the data in the struct old by inventory. So maybe it's more clear here. Okay. that should be more explicative, right? Yeah, sometimes sometimes we just cut parts, but literally, that is the method one. So the method two is inspecting the code, literally, checking what are the U properties marked in a certain way, and at that point gather all the U properties that represent literally that you want to grab and store in a certain way inside the inventory. And this is the second way, which is way more complicated but gives you way more freedom, because with the second method you'll be able to store literally any different class in the inventory without priorly knowing what is the type of class and what that class contains. And that, as you can understand, is literally the greatest way, because you don't have to know what are the specific properties of that class to be added and filled into the inventory. I know that could seem a bit difficult. I want to see how that is done. We will get there. We will get there. The important is that you understand the principles behind it before, and that's literally the most important thing, because one thing is seeing the code, one thing is understanding what we have to do, because here we are breaking down a problem. And the problem is making a performant inventory and being able to store in the inventory any kind of present and future class that we will implement. And this is really important, guys, because the inventory is like, let's say, one of the core mechanics in nowadays every game, okay? Because mostly every game has an inventory, right? And or you plan to add everything, and maybe you can also have different inventories for different type of objects, but that adds a layer of complicating the things. The best approach is being able to create the inventory priorly to everything and give the ability to the inventory to store literally anything that will come in the future. You get the point, guys? And this is really, because this is really probably the best way, the best approach, because because literally the inventory becomes a container for everything, every single class that you have at the moment, but every single class that you will have in the future, without needing to change the inventory itself, or to have the same parameters in every class. You get the point, guys? Okay, if we have to write down the algorithm of the inventory, let's say then we're gonna write down the passes, then we will use to connect to the inventory, and the passes, to pass the objects to the inventory. And this here is all the code then you need to perform this kind of universal inventory. And it took us also quite some time for me too. It's not easy stuff because we're dealing with the reflection system, and we're dealing with pointers, then of course are memory addresses, and we are passing pointers to array of U integers because they can represent the pointers themselves. So that's not really easy. The most important thing is that we understand the way that this things is going to work. The code will come after, but before we need to understand how this works. So let's say point 1 pass to the inventory any actor, okay? So any actor then could have maybe a collision and we could collide or we can click on. It's not important. What is important is that we will be able to pass freely any kind of vector of any type to the inventory itself, okay? And this could be simply solved with a function. I can't really spell it. I don't know, guys. I can't really spell inventory. This is gonna be a problem. And this will be a pointer to an actor. And we're gonna call this item to add. Okay? This is the function that will be called anywhere, so anytime we are going to collide with an object, click on an object. So if that object through our action is being meant to be added to our inventory, this is the function then we will call. Normally this function, for the sake of keep the things organized, it's stored in a component. Normally a component is used to act as inventory, because anything can literally hold an inventory. Imagine if we abstract the things. Imagine if we have a chest, okay? Imagine if we have an enemy. Imagine if we have the main character. Imagine if we have literally anything can hold inside itself other actors, right? So the enemies can have an inventory because the enemies can be killed and they could drop something like money, other weapon, trash, crafts, whatever. Chest, they contains goodies, right? Like chest that can contain money, treasures, everything, okay? So we have already two things. Ourselves as a player, right? We need to hold and store objects that literally other actors or the representation of that actors. So literally we already defined 3 classes. They can have an inventory, right? So what also pops through your mind that could have an inventory? Tell me, guys. What do you think will be another class into a common game that could hold an inventory? Any idea? Let's say player. Let's see, any kind of chest / container. The enemies, Storage? What do you mean for storage? Like a secondary persistent storage for the player? You mean that? Player storage. Let's call this persistent player storage. I can't read. Persistent player storage. Okay, that makes sense. Another one. What could contain an inventory? What can pop in your mind beside this thing? Me. No, this is correct. This is really important because we need to be able to pass to the inventory any actor without priorly knowing what is that. So we need to abstract a lot of things. Let's take them for the moment: player, chest containers, the enemies, and the persistent player storage. These are the most common, but literally, guys, let's say then anything can contain an inventory. Why not a car? Why not a car? A car can contain an inventory, right? Because let's say then you can inspect the car and you can find stuff inside the car, okay? So anything literally can contain an inventory, right? A letter, then you open, and a letter could contain maybe a piece of paper, but maybe also money, maybe also a key, literally everything, right? You follow me, guys? You follow me, guys? This is one of the key course concepts. You follow me? Why a letter can't be an inventory? A letter is an actor, right? Instantiated in the world. When you open the letter, a letter is literally a container, right? Because it contains normally a piece of paper, but it can contain also money. It can contain also, I don't know, a ticket for the theater, whatever, right? You got the point? So the problem here is abstracting the inventory in the way that we can storage anything that we have and everything that we'll have in the future without priorly knowing all the classes that will be created in the future. This is a tough call, guys, and this is really important. This is the way that you architect your code to be great code. Because it is easy. If we're going to create an inventory for the weapons, we know the weapons, then and we know all the parameters of the weapons before. So we create an inventory for the weapons and we are good to go. But when in the same moment then we add the parameters, one single parameters to the weapon, we need to go to the inventory and change also into the inventory the parameter, right? So this is not the most efficient way. The most efficient way is create an intelligent inventory which can hold all the future classes then we can create. And this is really important because that gives us the freedom of engineering before the inventory, and after we don't give literally a freak of which classes we are going to create in the future, which type of actors we're going to create in the future, which subclasses of weapons we're going to create in the future, because our armor or everything. Bear with me, guys. A weapon has particular stats like the rounds per minute, accuracy, and all the stuff. But armors, they don't have these stats. They have maybe durability, maybe they have resistance, maybe they have all the stuff. So, how is it possible to creating an inventory without knowing before all the classes that will be created in game, and also even after we will ship the game, having an inventory which auto-adapts to all the future classes that will be implemented into the game. This is really difficult. And it is a huge task. But that gives you the complete freedom to create an inventory before knowing everything that will be created in the future. You are with me? You get the point? So for this reason, normally, so let's say normally inventory code resides inside a component, because every, and I say literally every, actor in game can hold an inventory. And this is really important because we need to be able to add the inventory component to literally anything in game, because anything can hold other actors, like for example, and let's say jeez, the freak, an actor, let's say for example, a letter can contain inside itself a piece of paper, let's say money. Send me a letter with money, guys. Keys, whatever. So literally any actor in your game can have an inventory, because can contain data inside itself, right? So this is why normally the inventory, the code for the inventory is placed inside a component, and you can add the component to any kind of actor inside your game. And this is really important because we have two big problems, okay? Before, we need to be able to literally have every actor can hold an inventory, like the example of a letter. A letter can contain a piece of paper, but also money, also keys, also everything. So we need to be able to deal with tons and tons of different inventories. This is the first problem that we need to solve, and we solve through the using of a component for creating all the logic that deals with the inventory itself. So all the inventory code resides into a component, because we need to be able to add this component to a lot of different instances of your actors inside the world. This is the first problem. The second problem, the bigger one, the most difficult one, is that we need to create an inventory that doesn't know priorly all the classes that we have in game, and literally, all to specify better, not only all the classes that we have now and we will have in the future, but also dealing with all the instances of their classes. For example, let's say then we have a base rifle, and that base rifle does a damage of 20, but we have an instance in the world that not only does a damage of 20, but maybe does also a damage type of freezing. And so the biggest problem here is having an inventory that let us dealing with literally anything that we know and anything that we don't know that will be created in the future. And this is really a difficult approach, because we need to, let's say, it works free from architecting all our classes before. But if we are able to do this, we are completely free from future implementation of any classes. You get the point, guys, here? Did I explain it myself? If honestly, if there is something that you don't understand, just let me know here in the comment in YouTube or whatever. Am I clear so far? I have still 6 cigarettes of autonomy after I need to go out. Maybe I'll continue after night, or maybe we'll see. Also, a very important thing is that whenever a class is instantiated into the world, the classes does some operations, maybe text, maybe it anyway containing resources. So the idea of just storing a pointer to the classes in an array, and after going and checking what is inside that classes and just maybe hiding and moving away from the map in a far location, this is the wrongest way, because not only they consume resources, they can create, code problems and stuff like that. In Blueprint, not really a lot, because Blueprint is really a safe environment. It's let's say that it's way safer environment than C++. But this is not the correct. You're with me, guys? There is any questions so far? Is there any questions so far? So, your question now should be, okay, X, so you told me that I need to create an inventory for everything that I will possibly store inside it. Then even I don't know the future classes, then I create in my game. And so you're telling me, you're really telling me that I must engineer an inventory before knowing any kind of classes that I could have in game? Your question should be, you're crazy? How I can store data which I don't know which data will be in the future? Then this should be your best question now. You should tell me you're crazy. If I don't know the future classes that will be in my game, how I really can store that data? That should be your main question. You should say you're crazy. How I can store, let's say, the data of maybe like a katana, even and not, and maybe the damage of the katana, the sharpness of the katana, and all this stuff. If I didn't have created that class before, so I don't know what it's going to contain, how I can create the inventory for containing that data now? This should be your question now. The most important thing, you should tell me you're crazy. Because how I can store data which I don't know the type and the value. And I don't even know the feature class that will implement that type and that value. So you should tell me that I'm crazy, right? Or no? You're scared to tell me that I'm crazy? Or you're sleeping? Okay, I'm going to make an example. Let's say then we have two classes, okay? Let's say then we have an A. Let's say then our project maybe is calling Sniping Legends, whatever. ASP. And let's say we will have just like a weapon with a weapon class, which will be just deriving from an actor class, and we're gonna be the ASP like let's say head armor is still deriving from an actor, and we're gonna have the ASP, let's say feet arm, still from an actor, and so far so on. Okay, let's say then for the moment we have these three classes defined in our project. Okay, and let's say then the ASP weapon containing a U property for the moment. I just don't give specifiers. Property which is, let's say, like damage, and contain another U property. Let me copy and paste. Oops. But why a double cursor? What's going on? A property which is like rate of fire. And we're gonna have, for example, for the head armor, we are gonna have another U property which is like, let's say, bullet resistance, and we're gonna have like another U property which is like, let's call this armor pierce resistance, and so far so on. Of course, I didn't specify the type of these things, but it's gonna be a float, it's gonna be another float. Okay, I'm going to write, this is gonna be another float, and this is gonna be another float. And let's just add, for the sake of having fun, another U property here, which is going to, which is going to be, say, gonna be an F string, and freaking caps, gonna be an F string, and it's going to be like weapon name. And I just keep the things really easy and only few parameters at the moment, okay? And let me just change the things like for feet armor, and we're going to maybe have let's copy and paste. Let's also add a name here for the sake of being. And let's say then in our feet armor we have like another property which is fire resistance, It's gonna be still a float. I'm not dealing with complex types now. It's just for an example, okay? So, let's say then in our project we have these three classes, okay? Let me add another thing here, like how we can call, but still weapon name. This is not gonna be weapon name. This is gonna be add armor name. Add armor name, and this is gonna be f string. It's gonna be, let's say, fit armor. Okay. From the moment that we define these three classes, we know these parameters, and we could create a struct in the inventory structure, then can hold these items, this data, based on maybe the type of vector that we pass to the inventory. And this is perfectly legit. Or we could implement a single struct which holds all these parameters inside any kind of basic actor, or maybe we could just pass to this function the item itself, and based maybe on an enum, we could switch on the item type and add to the inventory, to the structure in the inventory, these parameters. And this is a perfectly doable way to make an inventory, better than storing pointers, better than they're just storing reference to actors in the world. That actors could be, for any kind of reason, garbaged, collected, or destroyed, or things like that. So that is not the safe way, and is not the good way, storing just pointers into an inventory. And this is the worst way you can do the things. Whenever we have data, then priorly we know, we could create inside inventory component a structure which represents all these properties. And we are gonna fill in based on the type of the class. So literally we could create an enum and retrieving the enum from the class, and based on the enum, so if it's a weapon, if it's an add armor, if it's a fit armor, we could switch on that one, and filling in the inventory the actor subclass and all the relative properties that are for that specified subclass. This is good as we know before everything. And so let's say then I have three classes, I have these three classes, and I implement the inventory. I implement the inventory for these three classes. Okay. What happened if I add another properties here? I need to go to the inventory, adding a field to the structure, and keep constantly changing the things. So this is not the most profitable way, right? It's doable, but it keeps, whenever you add a single parameter in a class, you need also add, keeping in consideration that I said you add a single parameter in class. In the class itself, you need to change also in the inventory, because in the inventory you need to store all these properties, at least the one that you need. But after I did the inventory, if I want to simply add another, like for example, I'm gonna create another float, and this float is gonna be, let's say, defense, okay? Like a random defense amount to add to the player when this item is equipped, okay? So, where is the problem here? Whenever I add a single field to a class, I need also to change the structure that is in the inventory to hold the new field, okay? Because we didn't have this field before, right? You following me? So I need to go into the inventory component and add this field to the struct, which represent the object. This is perfectly doable. You will do maybe many times. But what happens if after we implemented the inventory for these three classes, we are going to add, after we add a new class. Then maybe it's gonna be ASP like torso armor. Torso armor. The inventory doesn't know nothing about this class, and if he uses it, let's say that he's still an A actor, the inventory doesn't know nothing about this class, at least the structure that is in the inventory component doesn't know nothing about this class. And also the enum, then we use it to switching on, not to understanding which class we are passing to the inventory. It's not good anymore because we added a new class after. So we need to go in that enum and add a new enum value that represent the new class. And also after that, because we need to switch on that one, and after that we do this. Let's say then we have other three fields then that are in the new class, and let's say then this is maybe like ice resistance, and there's gonna be like that's gonna be torso armor name, and this is gonna be like no more defense. It's going to be, give me a parameter like firepower. Okay, our inventory doesn't know nothing about this class and doesn't know nothing of these new properties that are present in this class. So we need to go through all the inventory and add the code for dealing with this new class. You get the point here, guys? Whenever in the future we are going to implement any future classes, there is no way that going inside the inventory and implement the code for dealing with these new variables into the class, right? Do you think this is a doable way? Answer yes or no. Is this a doable way for you guys? Don't be shy. It is a doable way. But that makes us constantly changing the code as we create a new classes that we want to implement as storage in our inventory. So as far as you create new classes, there are different types of the classes that we have, and also bear with me also child classes then could contain these parameters but also new ones, because let's say then we are gonna to creating a, let's say a child of ASP weapon, and this contains these three base parameters but contains also a new parameter that maybe will be a fire protection or uh, whatever could cross your mind. So we need to deal also with the new parameters that are in the new child class. And so even if we create a new child class of ESP weapon and we add 2-3 parameters, we need to go back into the inventory and store also that 3 parameters more. So this is a perfectly doable way, but it making you constantly go through the code and changing the code in your inventory and adding fields for storing new properties that you will implement in the future. You get the point, guys? There is something that it's not clear so far. If you have any doubt or question, just ask. For cigarettes, that's bad. It's really bad. I need to check a thing a second. Okay, still here, guys. Check it out. So the real question here is how I can code an inventory. An inventory which can hold any future classes and data that will be implemented. You there, guys? Jesus, I'm the king of mistypes. Sorry for that.
On my own, but I don't know why you hit the road, but you don't realize I'm on the back.
The real question is how I can code an inventory which can hold any future classes and data that will be implemented, comma, if I don't know what the freak I will implement. I will implement in the future of my game. Because I don't know the future classes. I don't know, maybe if I would love to add like ads. Ads could be derived from head armor, or let's say handguns that could be derived from the main weapon, or I could create like literally, let me think, leg armor with different properties, or literally, let's say, anything. How we can engineer the inventory before. Before knowing what I will implement into the game. I give you 5 minutes for answering. Five minutes is too little. Give me like 5 more. No, Daniels. I'm telling you that it's possible, okay? So the real question you should give me, guys, you should pose me, guys, is how, this is the real question. How I can know the properties before I even think to implement and build. To implement and build. How I can know the properties before I even think to implement and build new classes? New classes? Hey, Luce! Come on, let's do some. You graffiti next to the house while he's cutting 10 tray for that. Luce, thank you for sub. Thank you a lot. And tackling up a huge beautiful problem here.
Exodus house while has coding and
It's nice to see her. You're graffiting my house. I hope this is gonna be like a Bugsy graffiti, right? No TTS. I need to implement the TTS. You're right. Okay, let me put it this way. There is time. There is. Wait, there's not. I really need to spend a bit of time on the channel and kind of revamp the graphics and these stuffs, because I worked a lot. I was hearing, yeah. I really anyway go a bit on you know, the channel, revamping the graphics and stuff, and make it more make it a bit different, you know, like, let's say the changing sometimes is good. We're facing a huge problem here, Lucha. Did you just jump in, or you were already in? You followed the discussion? Answering to Daniels. Or how I can know just jumping in? Okay. The huge problem here is how to do an inventory for the game before even knowing which classes and properties that will be represented in the future. This is a beautiful problem. I'm back in the office. Oh, you're back in the office? You're not at home anymore? You were working from home, right? The question, Danix, is that I can't. The answer, sorry. No, not work from home anymore. Ah, that's bad. Yeah. I mean, that was one of the good things only. The answer then is to how I can know the properties before I even think to implement and build new classes is that the answer is I can't when I code the inventory component before everything. Before creating everything. Anyway, nothing stops you from saving a pointer to a generic object. They should be to check which class instance the points refers to. Yeah, this is the way on how not to do that. Because, I mean, like I said, this is what many people does wrong, because technically they store a pointer and they just hide from the word and not destroying it. Yeah, it can really be everything, but the problem is that whenever you're storing a pointer, you're storing a pointer to an instance of an object which has been spawned in the world, and that forces you to hide the instance, move away from the map. You save reference to the class and reference to the object. The problem is that the best approach is saving inside inventory the T subclass of, so the reference of the class. But for the sake of good coding, you don't let the object instantiated into the world, because the object's function is taking resources and stuff like that. So the problem then we are facing is how to solve this, because whenever you don't need an object anymore, because you're not maybe equipping the weapon, you're not equipping the fence. Isn't there a way to serialize the state of an object in a generic way? You serialize the object and unload it. Technically, this is the best way, and this is the approach that I'm explaining to people now. Yeah, this is actually the way that I'm explaining. Then you should do an inventory, because you could create a struct which represent your items and things like that. But the way then we are approaching this, technically what you say, Lucent, is perfect. But because we need to be able to know the properties of that object, even when we're dealing with it, we're gonna using the reflection systems of UI of Unreal Engine, which is the ability to inspect code at runtime. Because whenever I have a class that holds this data at this point, the issue with struct is that there is static, but serialization should represent structured data regardless of the layout. Exactly. This is the best approach for dealing with an inventory, and is creating the inventory before and letting the inventory holding any kind of data that will be created in the future. And the approach is good, but we're gonna using the reflection for reading all the properties that we have. So all the vars that are marked U property, and store that. So technically store in a tmap pair like the name of the property and the value of the property. If it's not a default value, we are gonna override the default value with a new one. For example, like upgrading and crafting. And that's the way that we're going for. So literally we are going passing to the inventory an actor from which we take the class, and we go through all that class property at runtime, and using the reflection system of Unreal Engine and storing in a tmap all their properties. So priorly we literally don't know the properties, so the vars that are inside that class. And so we store literally everything that is marked U property and on a particular flag. And so at that point we have, from any kind of classes, we're storing the subclass. So literally for any kind of instance, we are storing the class inside our inventory, and we are gonna dig through all the properties that are in that class and saving that properties, at least the ones that are not like the default properties, values, in a T-map. And this is the best approach. So we have an inventory, and this is the code for that. Partially, the code for that. And the reflection system is the only way that Unreal Engine can that we can do this mostly, because we are gonna loop through all the properties, then we mark. Hey, Electric Longboard, thank you for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Welcome in deep advanced C++. So yes, Luce, your approach is mostly the one, and literally we are literally I am serializing the things and using a T-map for serializing the struct, then is marked for serializing, and so pairing literally every single value inside the class, defining priorly which is the struct to save, right? So inside any class, I'm having a value which says to this code, which says, hey man, this is the data, the name of the structure of which I have to save the data. So inside any class, there is the name of the structure which represent the data that I want to save. So for example, inside the class ASP underscore weapon, I have a U property which says, hey, we need to dig into this weapon params because this is the structure which represents the values that I want to store of that actor. So literally, this uStruct, it's a structure which defines, in this case for the weapon, but for the armor helmets will be different and stuff so on. So through the reflection of UE, we are going before to check for every actor that is passed to the inventory. We are gonna check in these properties, dati da salvare, which in Italian will be data to save. And so this fname will contain every structure in different classes. So maybe this will, in this case, weapon params. In a case of the armor will be armor feet params or so far so on. So I'm telling to the code, hey, inside this var, there is the name of the structure. Then we need to loop through and serialize all the data. In this case is this one inside a T-map. The T-map contains this name as fname and the value. And we need to compare if it's a default value of the class. We're not gonna add in this pair into the T-map because we're already there. But whenever we're taking this armor from the inventory and maybe crafting or upgrading, we need to check which of these values has been changed and store the new changed ones. So literally, we are serializing a struct. You got it, guys? It's clear, Daniels? Without dealing with any kind of pointer technically at the moment, because we are not storing pointers into the inventory. We are storing the data of the structure which defines that particular class. So in this case, it's the weapon parameters, and we're storing that together in the same structure, where we store also the base class. So basically this becomes a black box, which we don't know how it works inside because we don't have to deal with, but can literally hold every class that we have in game and every future class that we have in game without being in needing and be worried of these parameters. So Luce, GJ, because you found logically it's blueprint read only. Okay, whatever. You immediately got to the problem. For who didn't get the problem so far, this is not easy stuff, guys. This is advanced C++ stuff. So don't be mad if you didn't get to this field, but it's not easy stuff. Let's say on a level from 1 to 10 in C++, this is kind of like 8 difficult, probably 8/9, because the goal is creating an inventory which really can hold any future class then we will create, and that requires a lot of abstraction in the way that we think and in the way that we engineer the inventory before, because it's not possible then every new classes that we are going to create, they are going to we're going to modify the code of the inventory. This is an approachable way if you don't know how to work with serialization and more with reflection in Unreal Engine, because the reflection in Unreal Engine is great because it gives us the possibility to inspect the code at runtime. So even if I'm running the game, I'm able to check all the properties. Sorry, in this case, all are properties, but why are properties? Because everything that is marked U property is U property, U function, U struct, U class. This is garbage collected automatically by UE, and it is exposed to the reflection system of UE. So it means that Unreal Engine is great because it gives us the possibility to inspect the class at runtime without knowing any parameter in the class. And this is really great, because in this way we can create an inventory which doesn't know what in the future we will implement, but we will always be able to store any kind of data. You got the point, guys? You understand why it's great? Because we don't have to adapt every time the inventory to the new future classes, but we literally make, at the beginning of the development, make an inventory and done. And in the future, we can implement a lecter class, we can implement a bazooka class, we can implement a mouse class, store it to the inventory, whatever. It doesn't matter anymore, because our inventory can hold every structure which represents the item itself. Is there any question? And as Lucent was saying, and of course, we will have literally a struct which holds the base class, not the pointer, literally the base class, and the data which we decide to save. The problem is that whenever we need to work on that class, on that item that technically became a class and the data which represent the class inside the inventory, we need to get back the data, deserializing it, and make a new instance of that class. Let's say, for example, for an upgrade system, we are gonna pick up the data from the inventory, make a new instance of that class, deserialize the data, passing the data to the new instance. At that point, we can work on the struct itself, the base struct, which I just shown now, changing the data here, and making the inverse workflow. So, picking the data from the new modifier struct and serialize it again inside the inventory. But with the reflection of Unreal Engine, we can do literally on everything, because we can inspect at runtime any kind of classes. Is there any question, guys? No questions? Everything is clear? So basically explaining really easy. We're gonna pass in an actor. Of course, we're going through this code later. This is a code that I did yesterday. We're gonna pass into the inventory an actor. We are gonna getting a pointer to the property that is called dati da salvare or data to save. And we are gonna take, we're gonna declare a pointer of type of name, and we're gonna use this function, which is container pointer to value pointer, that give us in input, we give the container of the f property, that in this case is the class, and given this container, and we are gonna take the value, and it basically is the df name of the property. And so far so on, at a certain point, this dati da salvare points us to the struct. Then we want to dig through and serialize all the parameters. We need to cast this weapon struct, because it's an f struct property pointer, so we need to cast the value of the name of the struct. Then in this case it's this one, weapon parameters. So through this code we get the name of the struct to save. We need to cast the field on an f struct property to be sure that it's a structure, and after we are going to iterate through all the fields of that structure and getting for every field a pointer to the memory, to the start of the memory address, and we're gonna create an array of uinteger 8, and we're gonna get in the sides of the property, which is literally the sides of the structure field here, and we're gonna creating an array that is going to contain the the binary data then we are getting in this data pointer 2, because with this function container pointer to value pointer, we're gonna taking the data of this property field and put it inside this uint8 pointer. So this uint8 pointer contain the memory address of the first byte, then is pointed by this property. Past this, we are gonna assign to the struct counter sites array the same sites of the property, the u property. Then we are pointed in this moment, because this is an iterator through all the properties that are inside the structure. At this point, we are gonna copy a single value from the data pointer 2 to data point 2, which, if we recall, it's a starting memory address of what is contained in the u property inside inside the struct content sites array. Through the get data, we get the starting point in memory of the array, and after we do other stuff. In my case, I have a tmap which holds all the struct content sites, and I'm gonna add into I'm gonna add in this moment to I'm gonna add the property name, which is u property, to the item properties struct, and my tmap, which contains the value of the property, and we're looping through. So basically, explained in big lines, this is how we are going to make our inventory. Anything that is marked u class, u function, u property, u struct, it's to the reflection system, is you can inspection it at runtime. So whenever we know in a certain way what is the name of the struct, then we instantiate it, and we pass to the inventory, we can loop through all its own parameters and serialize that parameters. So our inventory doesn't need to know priorly which kind of data is going to hold, because we will construct at runtime for any class the data structure inside inventory. You get it, guys? If there's any question, just let me know. This is probably the biggest level of abstraction that you can put in place for creating an inventory. Check a couple of things. viewers. Yep. Later, check. Okay, what time is it? It's 2 hours on stream now, so I need to exit and buy the cigarette. Yep. I don't know, probably will be live tomorrow, continuing this stuff. I hope then, if there's any question, guys, just drop me a line. This video will be also on the tube in a bit. Thanks for everyone that has been here so far. Thanks Lucha for the sub and for the raid. Thank you, Daniels. If you have any questions, just drop me a line, and we're gonna explain and keep continuing on this code tomorrow. Probably tomorrow, not sure. Not Nate. Thank you for staying with me today. Thank you all the new followers. There were, because there's some problems on notifying. I don't get notified anymore. This is weird. What's next? This is like, what the fuck to me? Oh, why? What's I mean, honestly, there's something that is not clear. I focus a lot only on explaining the things, on how to do an inventory. There is something in particular that you didn't get it, or I got the logic behind what you want to do and why. And this is the most important thing. But I still have no idea on the how. What the how will come in the most important. Okay, whenever you are a problem, you have to create an algorithm which solve that problem. Okay. Important is that you understand the logic behind and why the approach is like that, and mostly what is wrong. I shown 3 methods, and the first one is how not to do an inventory. Storing actors into an array. This is the wrongest thing, because whenever you are adding something to the inventory, you don't need to keep that object in the world, right? Get the point? Because that object consumes resources, cycles, and memory and stuff like that. So that object should be in the world only and exclusively when you are using it for some kind of reason. Let's say then you have 10 armors in the inventory, but you're using 1, so you need to assess the stats of that one, not all the other 9s, right? So you understood that part. Okay, this is good. So method 1, you understood why and why not. The method 1 should be creating a structure which could technically represent anything in the world. That leads to having big structures, but I love big structure and nested structures. So in Reborn, I appreciated that method because it's a huge complex RPG, and I want to be in control of a lot of data without being in need of reinstantiating object or stuff like that. So basically in Reborn, we really work on huge data structures, huge. For way less complicated items than in Reborn, and not having planned before and implemented before all the classes, we can use the reflection system, and it's basically. Let me take a base class. So let me take the weapon class, okay? The weapon class, as like any class, a lot of data, like, you know, for example, here we are specifying the rarity of the weapon: non-common, rare, epic, legendary, and this is a UNM, okay? In C++, that should be just an enum class. In Unreal Engine, if you mark UNum, you use the reflection system. So the reflection system is the fundamental on which is Unreal Engine is based on. So everything is marked U, UNum, UStruct, UClass, UFunction, UProperty. You can access that data through the reflection system. So you can basically make any kind of changement to this class and literally reading this at runtime. This is what means the reflection. And so, for example, in this class, we have a struct which is of type fWeapon parameters. We declare the struct, and the struct contains a lot of parameters which defines the weapon itself, right? So, for example, the range, the stability, the accuracy, the critical amount, the reload time, the type of damage, then is a subclass of U damage type, the damage amount, the RPM, which is the rate of fire, clip size, so the magazine size, the level of the weapon, the variant, the rarity, and the type, which they refers to these three enums, like non, assault rifle, revolver, whatever. The variant, if it's precision, shoot 1 bullet at a time. If it's tactical, shoot 2 bullets at a time. If it's shooter, shoot 3 bullets at a time, and so far so on. So basically, all these set of parameters defines the weapon specs, okay? And I can add a lot more of these ones. And if I use a struct, which I pass these parameters in the inventory, the struct in the inventory needs to represent all this data priorly, right? So I need to know all this data priorly and fill the struct that I have in the inventory with this data. So what is in the inventory must perfectly match the structure. So the structure in the inventory needs to be a copy of this structure with the method 1. And whenever I add any kind of new field here, like WP, I don't know, fire, add the damage, whatever you want to call it, I need to go also in the inventory and add this field to the structure in the inventory. So basically I'm passing this data from this structure to the same structure in the inventory. So in any kind of class throughout your game, whenever you're gonna adding a single value and you need to save that value, you need to go also in the structure into the inventory and replicate this. So literally writing this also into the structure that represent the inventory. This is perfectly doable and it's a way to go. With the reflection system, we don't have to know this priorly, because whenever I'm trying to add something to inventory, I'm gonna read all these properties and store the properties that are different from the base class value in terms of name and in terms of value inside the U property. Note that from our inventory, when we will try to read all these F properties, if for example the one that I added VPW fire damage, if this will not be marked U property, this var will not be readable from the reflection system. So we will not be able to add this float WP underscore fire added damage to our inventory, because if we're not marking it U property, it doesn't become part of the reflection system in Unreal Engine. It's a bit more clear now, Daniels? Is there some other things that you don't get it? And everyone, guys, if there's any kind of question, just drop a line. I like to try it myself to fully understand it. Yeah, this is today I'm only explaining the possible approaches, and there will be also way more other approaches. Yeah. But so far I think I understood enough to be able to take it on. Okay, that is really nice. I like it. It means then I'm able to explain complex concepts in an understandable way for people. I got asked also to make a course on Udemy. I don't know. What do you think, guys? And what has been asked me is really to make a base course on how to really start in with the engine. So understanding, really try, because I've been told many people doesn't understand difference between classes and the instance and stuff like that, and after they get stuck, so I've been asked to make really a very explicative course on how to get into the engine and how to start to make the things and how to understand the word itself and how to understand little how the way that we're using blueprints is just an abstraction of C++. I've been asked these. What do you think, guys? I think you should teach me. Okay, don't worry, just like $300 per hour. I'm cheap. I'm not so expensive, Daniels. Just kidding, of course. Very cheap. Okay, let's make it 400 and don't push more. Okay, I knew I was cheap. Okay, let's make it 400. I like to go for 30 seconds. Oh, how much is 30 seconds? you make also the calculating. How much is the rate for 30 seconds? Are you calculating it? I can't. Oh, okay. There is something that I can't really type inventory. I don't know what's. Jesus. I don't know why. Inventory. $3. Okay. Okay. Make a donation of $3 and you have me for 30 seconds. That's not bad. I mean, anyway, $3 for 30 seconds sounds good. It's a good rate. How about that? It's a good rate. I like it. That's not bad. Okay, guys, it's time that I go because I really need to buy cigarettes because I'm out of it. Thanks everyone being with me today. Those prices are kind of unfair, so you want to have high prices. Higher, really? Kidding me? Should be. You should $5 for 30 seconds? That doesn't sound bad. I mean, like let's say 5 times. Let's say 5. You said per seconds? Okay. 5 times 2, we have a minute. Times 60. Well, 60 minutes. Times 24. Well, like 1,440 by day, which is not bad. How about that? Yeah, I think it's not bad. Yeah, it's doable. Yeah, okay, I get it. Make the wire transfer. Just kidding, guys. Oh, that would be great. But okay, guys, let's stop to breathe. Switching in Andy mode. Thanks everyone for this today's stream. Will be uploaded in YouTube right now too. As far as I get off stream. If there's any question, you could also let a comment on YouTube. Please follow there too. All the links are in the channel. Alright. And yeah, then I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Cheers, guys. Bye.